Thank you for joining me. My name is Craig Pera, and today is Tuesday, January 9th, and we're going to see who joins us live. And I've got a very exciting topic today. I have to be honest, if I'm being vulnerable, I might cry. There's definitely, this is a pretty emotional topic for me, and because it's been so impactful. So, really excited to share it with you. Let me check my audio here, make sure. Boom, boom, boom. Testing, 1, 2. Wonderful. All right. All right. Welcome, welcome. All right. Welcome, guys. If you have joined me live, say hi in the chat. It would be great to connect with you. We just started. So what I'm going to do is do my podcast on sex addiction and porn addiction and personality disorders, particularly borderline personality disorders. And there is a fraction of the people out there who are going to hear this podcast, and it is going to profoundly change your life. For you people, I'm really, really excited. What's up, Flex? Hey, Nathan, what's up, my man? A really personal issue for me, and if I'm being honest, I think I'm going to get emotional. I'm probably going to cry. So you have that vulnerability to look forward to. My journey, hey, what's up, Steven? To understanding this part of myself on my long mental health journey, and where I've gotten to. I'm really excited to share this with you because it's so deeply personal. Let me say hi in the chat. Oh, you just signed up for the 16-week. Awesome. Relay. Yeah, those guys are doing great work over there. Let me know how that's going. Let me know in the chat, when you hear personality disorder, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes up? What's up, Rob? When you hear personality disorder, what is one of the first things that come up? All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump in. Keep the questions coming. Yeah, Rob gets right to the boom. Symptom number 1, fear of abandonment, narcissistic. Definitely. So let's do this. Malfunction. Yeah, that's a great word. All right, let's do this. Take a deep breath. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Sex Addictions and Porn Afflictions. My name is Craig Pera, the founder of the Mindful Habit System. This is a podcast to help you create healthy sexuality and a great life, and your partner, if she's struggling with your addiction. It's for everybody. And frankly, I think it's for every guy. If we want to be prophylactic, if we want to be preventative, we need to learn skills. And so let me tell you about a really important, there's been a number of really powerful moments over the course of the past 12 years in helping people. I'm sorry about it. I had to shut that off. But for them, yeah. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for me personally. I'm talking about, and there were two moments that I can point to that had a significant impact on my emotional intelligence, my mental health, how I was showing up in the world, how I felt about myself. One is when I learned to apply mindfulness to pain. That was like, oh, I advanced a level. That was one of the greatest lessons that I learned from Dr. David Hanscom. If you struggle with chronic pain, you need to know Dr. David Hanscom, a brilliant man. And then there's this other journey that I'm going to share with you today. And I'll just start beginning by telling you where this came from. So I am working with a client who is a counselor, a client who is a therapist, who is struggling with sex addiction and porn addiction. Um, you know, heard the podcast, got really deep into the mindful habit system, and got really deep into me, and said, listen, this is what I need. And he said to me, he said, hey, have you ever thought of yourself as someone who has borderline personality disorder? And I said to him, in my mind, how dare you? I'm not, no, because those people are really, really, really fucked up. Excuse my language. But that's what I was led to believe, right? That's the Sharon Stone in the movie. She had borderline. And he said something to me that changed my life and gave me this invitation. He said, you know, Craig, whoo, I'm getting emotional too early. I'm in the science now, guys. He said, think about it as on a spectrum. Don't think about it like autism. Think about it like a spectrum disorder. Don't think about it like you've got to cross this line, because the line is, first of all, right? If you know, a lot of people, this might come up in their therapy, and they're like, no, you don't have narcissistic personality disorder. You definitely don't have borderline personality disorder. The fact that you're even getting help means you don't have these conditions. When you look at the symptoms, that's not one of the criteria. We'll get to that in a second. So he told me to go look, and I did, and I'm going to go through the symptoms with you now. We're going to go through them together. And here's the first of all, never take medical advice from a life coach. If you're a sex addict and you're a porn addict and you keep failing and you keep falling on your face and you've committed a ton of resources and you committed and you're trying and you're busting your ass and you're failing and you're failing and you're failing, I'm like, hey, check out the personality disorder stuff. And I've had a number of clients recently wake up to the reality that in their years of therapy, which was so well-intentioned and well-focused on sex addiction and porn addiction, what it meant was that person, that provider, did not have experience in personality disorders, or not in the way that the client might have needed this person to be because of their condition. So this is not in any way because listen, this is a scary diagnosis. You mentioned it in company. I mentioned this to a friend of mine here, one of my therapist friends, who is one of the most compassionate, empathetic people on the planet. I said, oh, I'm reading the book, I Hate You, Don't Leave Me, about borderline, and I'm really making me think. And she said something like, oh man, be careful, stay away, they're crazy. And this is one of the most compassionate people I know in the world. So my old counselor said to me, information, not ammunition. I am not qualified to diagnose nor treat a personality disorder. But you know what I've gotten really good over the years doing? Pointing and saying, hey, I know you're struggling, and I know you keep falling flat on your face, and the only word that you have to describe your behavior is that you are a fucking asshole, that you are a piece of shit. It just breaks my heart. There's something else. There's something else. I'm going to go through the symptoms in a second. I would read the book, and I'm going to link to some of the resources. They should be in the chat. I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. You Might Be a Narcissist If. Walking on Eggshells, if you are the partner of someone struggling with conditions. And I've also come to understand how much love these people need, because they come from a place of such deep and profound brokenness that if anybody knows me here, knows I connect with that in a very, very deep way. And despite all the work that I did, I'd still get reactive with my wife. I'd still be a jerk and say things I didn't mean. I'd still snap. I'd still, when at least wait until she left the room, I'd fling the slipper like a total jerk. Say things that were like unkind to the single person who saved my life, but even just today, kind, loving, beautiful person. And my daughter's making a comment, man, I'm so deeply wounded, and like it hurts so much, and then sometimes feeling hopeless, and learning to ride those waves. Listen, I am crushing it. This whole revelation has been one of the most important things to happen to me. I've never been more grounded, more connected, and more stable. And this is part of it. This is part of it. So let's go through the symptoms. If you're here joining me live, let me know if any of this is resonating with you. Is this connecting? Does this sound like something that you connect with? And let me know in the chat your reaction to what I'm saying so I can tailor what I'm doing to the people who are here and showing up, okay? So let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. And so I'm on the page, and I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can follow along. And let's read together. Who wants to do story time? Okay? Borderline disorder is a mental health disorder that impacts the way you think and feel about yourself and others, causing problems functioning in everyday life. It includes self-image issues. Hello. Difficulty managing emotions and behavior. Hello. And a pattern of unstable relationships. Now, even though I've been married for 25 years, that relationship was unstable. So again, you see, wait, no, doesn't qualify. Hold on, remember spectrum. Right? Certainly a pattern of unstable parts of my relationships that I did have with both friends and family. Absolutely. With borderline personality disorder, you have an intense fear of abandonment or instability. You may have had difficulty tolerating being alone, yet inappropriate anger, impulsiveness, and frequent mood swings may push others away, even though you want to have loving and caring relationships. Even though all you want is that relationship, the condition is that you sabotage it. The condition is that you sabotage it. That's the condition. That's the symptom. That's the symptom. Pretty wild, right? Let me look at the chat here. And if this relates to you, and then you say, "Oh, wait a minute." And listen. One of the reasons why the mindful habit system works so well, and I didn't plan it this way, but I have also learned that I've got great instincts. The way we combined that in the moment mindfulness, distress tolerance from DBT is a major part of the mindful habit system. In the moment mindfulness, reacting in the moment. Right, so that's one of the reasons we're so successful. You combine that with the parts work, and now we've been able to leverage IFS. We've really created something special. It's not me; it's the model. And so, how do you manage these deeply wounded parts? Right, and anybody who's listening to this and connecting with, they're saying, "Hey, yeah, these parts don't go away." But wait a minute, they're supposed to go away. I had those moments in therapy. And I call those moments, and I had them too. And aren't they awesome? Who here? And let me know in the chat. They're so cathartic, right? Or so healing. Like you realize something about yourself. You realize a pattern. You realize how you've internalized shame. You realize like you let go of something. You forgive yourself for something. And it feels like, to me, the movie Shawshank Redemption, when he climbs through the shit comes out of the tunnel, and the rain is cleansing him as he stands with his arms outstretched, his face looking up to the sky and being cleansed. I call those moments fireworks because they are so, 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 so big and powerful. But they do not drive immediately or in any way long-term sustainable identity change. They are a contributor to long-term identity change. But that moment, that awareness in and of itself needs to be operationalized, needs to be woven into the fabric of the system that you're counterbalancing this reality that you might be somewhere on this spectrum as we get to the symptoms. Who wants to do the symptoms? All right. Oh, cool, right? This is awesome. And listen, we're reading. I'm reading to you. I can't diagnose. I can't treat. And maybe if you want, we can do a podcast. I'm bringing on someone who can, and how to find the professional, right? How do you ask? Because what I've learned is that, I'll have clients who say, oh my God, like Craig, I'm 10 out of 10 like you. And I'm like, well, listen, I can't diagnose you. You just go talk to someone who can. They talk to their therapist and they say, no, absolutely not. How many patients do you have with that condition? None. How many people have you diagnosed with that condition? None. And listen, there's issues on insurance. It's a big, scary thing. Big, scary thing. Big, scary thing for us, brothers and sisters. Information, not ammunition. If you pick up this book, I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. You pick up the book, You Might Be a Narcissist and you see yourself on those pages. It may be scary. It'll definitely feel you're probably going to get help, right? You'll get great value in seeing a qualified therapist or counselor. There's a chance, and that's just a chance, that our program can help. Listen, we help around that realization, but those tend to be established clients versus someone, coming. Anyway, we want to make sure everyone gets the right help. So a therapist, counselor, qualified person, and maybe my program might be the right place for you, okay? So the more you connect with this, the probably greater likelihood that you would get great value and help, right? Kind of like think about it from a consulting perspective. Think about it like a business perspective. You want to accelerate your awareness around this. And so let's get to the symptoms. Who wants to do it with me? Okay, get your pen and papers handy. Let's do a checklist and let's see where you go. I may get emotional. Excuse me for that. And hey, listen, that's just me, right? I want to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a sign of strength. And let's be strong together. Let's do it. Okay. Share screen. Borderline personality disorder symptoms. Share. Okay. And listen, they say it right here. If you have borderline personality disorder, don't get discouraged. Many people with this disorder get better over time with treatment and can learn to live satisfying lives. All this means is that you got to master your shit. Excuse my French. The more that this is connecting with you, the more counterbalancing measures you need to address the reality that you're down with BPD. Here are the symptoms. An intense fear of abandonment, even going to extreme measures to avoid real or imagined separation or rejection. I was adopted, orphaned. I now know what happened, but there's no, if I got any adopted brothers and sisters out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? This is so true for so many of us. Well, no, I only fear not being good enough. Well, what happens if you're not good enough? You get abandoned. You get abandoned, and you will do anything to avoid getting abandoned. Look at the lies you tell because of your fear of being abandoned, right? So now let's keep going. A pattern of unstable, intense relationships, such as idealizing someone one moment and then suddenly believing the person doesn't care enough or is cruel the next. So you people put someone up here, then they're down there. And that could happen in a day. That could happen in a conversation. And again, because we're thinking about it on a spectrum, how do you know? You pay attention to those thoughts, right? Do you pedestalize people? Do you want people to pedestalize you? Hello? Significance. Hello? Significance. It's all about significance for us men. So that's the next one. Okay, here. Rapid changes in self-identity and self-image that include shifting goals and values and seeing yourself as bad or as if you don't exist at all. The gift is they call people with BPD chameleons because they can change and that helps them connect with people. There's so many positives. There are assets here, brothers and sisters. This is some powerful stuff if this is relevant to you. So rapid changes in self-identity. I'm king of the world. I'm a worthless piece of shit. I connect with that very, very deeply. Very, very deeply. Let me see if anyone's got any comments. So I'm reading these symptoms just like you are, and I'm saying, yep, check, check, check. Let's go next. Oh, here's one. I definitely didn't qualify for this one. Wrong. Periods of stress-related paranoia and loss of contact with reality, lasting from a few minutes to a few hours. No, I'm not paranoid. Not loss of contact with reality. But that negative thought that you call risk management and automatic fear that someone is going to do this bad thing. Yes, it's being careful, but it's on a spectrum. Some of it, upon reflection, after completely rejecting this criteria at first, paranoia, loss of contact with reality, that's not my problem. When I examined the lens through which I was reacting, that immediate, automatic, instantaneous with Michelle, to still the projection of mother, still that reaction, still that defensive, and so thinking, attributing wrong intent. Oh my gosh, I did that recently, completely wrong, ridiculously wrong. Now, the good news is I realize it quickly. I can address it quickly. Even the times I love best when you're able to put the toothpaste back in the paste jar. Like, it's like, you tell, get back in there. Hold on. No, I'm good. Okay. Take a breath. Take a walk. Go the other way. Not even close to reality. Right? Those words come into my mind. So, that one. Okay. So that one I thought didn't apply. And then upon reflection and then learning about what paranoia was, I most unequivocally applied to me in spades, if that's the expression. Here's the next one. Impulsive and risky behavior, such as gambling, check. Reckless driving, check. Unsafe sex, check. Spending sprees, check. Binge eating, drug abuse, check, check. Sabotaging success by suddenly quitting a good job or ending a positive relationship or getting fired for being assistant general counsel at the Hanover Insurance Group at a $3 billion a year company, in-ground parking, sabotage. I check every one of those boxes, checked every one of those boxes. But the binge eating, stuffing myself, like that pattern is something I continue to work on. Right? Not unsafe, not reckless driving, not unsafe sex, not gambling, not sabotaging success, but being held back by fear. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Especially since I've stepped out of that shell going to Rotary. Rotary is a local civic organization of civic-minded people who want to help the community. It is awesome. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. And most of us are lonely. It's like smoking 14 cigarettes a day. We got to connect. I realized that I had a lot of connecting here, a lot of connecting, deep connecting in what I'm doing, but not out there, not with friends, not with other community members. And putting myself up there. Oh, hi, what do you do? Oh, I'm the worthless piece of shit who used bath salts and got fired from my job after moving cross country and, shit on my wife. Oh, and now I help people. So there's a reactive part. And these parts have awakened because now I'm out in the community and now I'm doing things and now I'm being vulnerable, talking about things. Oh, now I don't believe that. I don't believe that in my heart. I don't believe that organically. Like, but there's a part that does. There's a part that does. Even if he knows it's not true. And so that's fear. That's fear that I have to continue to proactively manage, nurture, honor, respect, and love, which is why the parts work is so important. Because when you've got personality disorders, you can stuff down, you can stuff down, you can stuff down, you can stuff down. And but that's a great skill set. But how do you manage those parts? How do you manage the reality that these reactive behaviors were born in significant trauma, whether it was actual or received that way? This is the physiology. This is your physiological response to fear, conflict. So you need distress tolerance. Let's continue. Wait, let me go back to the chat and see if anyone's got any other comments. Oh, thank you, Flex. Boom. Hey, bring them all here. Bring them all here. Give me their questions, right? They're going to learn more. Hey, listen, and you can share this with them later. For the people that this connects with, it's going to change your life. Like, I feel confident in saying that. I've been podcasting now for 12 years, maybe. You develop a reputation over that time. And it's one thing is not to make ridiculous claims or frivolous claims or any notion that this is easy. That is a preposterous notion. In fact, I want everyone to know this is a big deal. You want to channel and direct that sexual energy. You want to counterbalance your oldest and most impactful habit. Maybe there's something around food, maybe. But beyond that, oldest and most impactful habit, using pleasure to escape pain, not wired for it, right? That's the default. Add to that the shame, the hiding, the lying, maybe abuse. That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a reason why that liar part is so strong. That liar is a protector. Anyway, let me get back on track. So here's another one. Now, if these come to you, brothers and sisters, get help, right? When you have those suicidal ideations, that's like, to me, or one way that I invite people to think about it is that's like Mother Nature, the body saying something's wrong. We need help. Something's broken. That evolutionary drive it's time to reach out to help. It's time to reach out for help. And listen, there have been times where I've said to my wife, honey, I am thinking about reaching out for help. And in fact, if I continue to ride this wave, if it continues for another few days, I'm going to do that. I think that's the right thing to do. That's the safe thing to do because that's how you manage mental health. And that was one of the biggest lessons for me, having my local counselor, therapist, good friend, Tony Overbay will, maybe I can get him on record conceding I am borderline-ish. And they all say, if you're seeking help, reaching help, you don't qualify. Well, I don't know. I don't see that in this description. Clearly, because I'm not qualified to diagnose or treat. But let's get back to the next one. Suicidal threats or behavior or self-injury, often in response to fear of separation or rejection. So Think about some of the sabotaging behavior that you may have engaged in when you got caught in response to perceived abandonment. Or think about how you felt. Think about the thoughts that you were having in your head. Because again, we're not looking for a line that you have to cross and you now get some badge that you get to wear. We're saying on a spectrum, I connect with that. Well, let me go digging deeper. No. Okay, it's not everything that's to qualify. There might be a lot there. But again, we are educated people. We can read. And if you connect with that and is certainly active, please get help. Please get help. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. There are people that can help you. And what a blessing and a privilege that you are here. Reaching out. Podcast is a great start. And local help, boom, face to face, connecting with somebody when you're in that low place. That's what you need. Okay. So anyway, do you connect with that? Wide mood swings lasting from a few hours to a few days. Anger with your partner. Right? How, even though you know it's misplaced, even though you know you're arguing over the wrong thing, right? How low do you go? Right? What intention do you attach to your partner's maybe getting frustrated or most likely concerned about your behavior because she loves you and feels is angry and hurt that the energy's going there when she'd rather it come to her. There's truth there. There's a lot of truth there. And it's very important for us men, to understand that and to embrace that. Right? Behind that anger is what? Is a desire to be with you. Maybe that might not be close to, but the anger is coming from a wound. A wound. So anyway, let me get back to my descriptions. All right, just checking out the chat. Let's keep going. Wide mood swings lasting from a few hours to a few days, which can include intense happiness, irritability, shame, and anxiety. It is because, so I was diagnosed with bipolar. And I was prescribed Lamictal. And because the highs were so high, the lows were so low. But upon reflection, I think the sex addiction got in the way of someone saying, "Oh my God, wow, you're 10 for 10 in a really, really significant way." At my low point. So other one, ongoing feelings of emptiness. Ongoing feelings of emptiness. And this is why you cannot, or please do not, define sobriety or success by feeling good and feeling happy. That's not fair. Congratulations on the efforts you took to create happy and to create good, but what goes up must come down. You're going to experience pain. You're going to experience loss. And if you love your animal, I'll use that as a safe example, and you open your heart to that pet and you give that animal all your love, that animal is going to pass. And you are going to mourn tremendously. And the more that you suffer, the greater that you suffer is an inverse correlation to the depth of your love. You don't shut down, you open up. I want to suffer more. I want to suffer more because I want to live. I want to love. I want to be vulnerable. I want to cry. I want to say, hey, that Pantera song, I'm broken. Damn, I connect with that. Let's get back to the symptoms. So, ongoing feelings of emptiness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Someone listening to this has had those feelings. and you may be having them now, and they will pass. It is a skill. It is a belief system. There are things that you can do to potentially accelerate the passing. It is also a sign. It is also I wish for you to be a trigger to reach out and to connect. Because the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. And that means so much more than you could possibly ever imagine. Whatever you think it means, multiply it by 1,000. Multiply it by 1,000. You're going to have a feeling of emptiness. We all are. What are you going to do about it? What do you do? What's anchoring? What's lifting you up? The buoy, the support. It's connection. It's connection. Last symptom. Inappropriate and intense anger, such as frequently losing your temper, being sarcastic or bitter, or having physical fights. I fought with a mugger, punched him in the face, dropped him on the ground. I've been stabbed in the neck when I was 18 years old in Montreal, Canada. I have been abusive to Michelle. She doesn't like that word, but I like it because it's accountability for me. I threw a boot at her, okay, and right, there's no excuse for that. Grabbed her arm once, no excuse for that. Right, long time ago. So these were the symptoms, and so I read these symptoms, and then I read the book, I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. And then I read, You Might Be a Narcissist If. We're going to get to the narcissism in another broadcast. But these are the symptoms. And so the opportunity for you is to read. Is there out of 10, how many am I? Am I 6 out of 10? Am I 7 out of 10? How many do you need to qualify for the diagnosis? So here's a way to think about it. And here's a way that might guide your conversation with your therapist or provider to help you get the best information, to help you learn as much as you can about yourself and ask the right questions. So one of the things that I find really enjoyable is when clients, so first step is the symptom at all present, right? And so like whatever word's there, you can almost like take off the word and it's like, is it at all present? Is it severe? Severe. Was it present? Yes or no? A or nay? And then the second part is is it 25% there? Like if you to imagine what 100% looks like this top of the crate, and I don't mean any disrespect. I'm using words that society tells us about these people, crazy, disturbed, and that bias was my reaction when my client said, hey, he pointed to me. He said, go look over there. Go look over there. I looked over there and I went, oh my God. Oh my God. How could this be? In self-help professionally for 12 years? Now 12 years this January. This therapist, that therapist, this therapist, that therapist. Now, times are changing. This isn't a blame game. Everyone did the best they could with their information they had, and what a crappy client I must have been, because I'm certain I lied and I wanted everyone to think that I was perfect. Even at my lowest point, I was an attorney. I had it all together, even though I had none of it together. Even though awakening to my mental illness has been one of the greatest gifts that I have received in my life. And understanding it, man, there's no more, the mental issues and physical issues. There's no more mental, physical. Mental is physical, physical is mental. Where is mental? We now even know our negative thoughts have an impact on the body. It's called epigenetics. Negative thoughts cause disease and change your genome. Look up negative thoughts epigenetics, and you will find articles and scientific papers telling you that this is true. So that mind, body, right? It's all mind, body. It's my body. It's all together. And as you look at these symptoms, as you read these books, be very, very careful and be very, very sensitive to who you share it with. It is an unsafe topic for most people because of the stereotypes, because of the bias, because of the reality that a lot of therapists, and for good reason, don't work with someone struggling with this condition. It requires too much effort beyond the session a week, right? And therapists are going to bend over backwards to help you. But if you know a client's going to be that difficult, you might say, hey, I don't have experience with that population. So there's a lot of bias. There's a lot of fear. This is for you to educate yourself and read. You don't have to tell the world that you have this condition. In doing so, and listen, you may not want this on your medical. If you're a entrepreneur and you got to get individually underwritten for your group insurance and you got to submit medical records, you got to ask questions. What have you been diagnosed with? Right, I couldn't get life insurance for a long time because of all my mental health history. That doesn't mean you don't get help. But there's reasons why too. And I've talked to some therapists who, you'd err in favor of a diagnosis that's going to help the person, not scare anybody. And man, it's such a high threshold to cross. I respect all that. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is saying, let me look, let me read. Where do I stand? Does it walk like a duck? Does it quack like a duck? Does it do whatever else ducks do? And if it does, you've got information. And what a lot of these clients have said to me is there's a different name I have that's far superior than asshole and piece of shit. And so I said, I want to do a podcast and put this out there. And listen, it's not a lot. Probably most people aren't going to connect with this, but some will. And you, brother or sister, this is a powerful moment. This represents a shift. Because now, right, you may have been going down this path, sex addiction, porn addiction. There's a lot of great stuff there. But now you go, wait a minute, there's a model that treats this. There's DBT. There's skills. There's perspective. There's awareness. There's a place where you go and see all of yourself, not through the narrow prism of sex and porn addiction, not through the narrow prism of the symptom, but through a broader perspective of a well-studied, well-documented, well-researched, well-written about personality disorders. And we're going to talk about narcissism. We're going to talk about the cluster Bs in upcoming podcasts that I'm going to do. What I wanted to do today was share with you the symptoms, share with you the personal story. I'm getting ready to wrap up. After this, I have my next level mastermind call, which is the guys who've been with the Mindful Habit for the longest. We're getting together for our first ever retreat, face-to-face, in person. It's just an amazing time to be leading this program. I feel really blessed that you're listening. I feel really blessed to experience this awakening and to share it with you. And I know, you may not connect, but listen, you should absolutely get the DBT skills manual, the dialectical behavior therapy skills workbook. Everybody get this. And listen, look how brilliantly worked out it is. Check it out. I love it. This is the best table of contents ever. Chapter 1, basic distress tolerance skills. Chapter 2, advanced distress tolerance skills. Chapter 3, more distress tolerance skills. Chapter 4, basic mindfulness skills. this is an awesome book. And in understanding as much as I learned about this model, honestly, it is one of the reasons why the mindful habit system has been so successful for so many people, because we obsess on those triggers, right? Those triggers have to become the cue, the prompt, the trigger to do something else, because they don't go away. That's why the distress tolerance in DBT is like the first 4 chapters. You can feel whatever you want about yourself, but if you keep losing it in the moment, you're unable to emotionally and physically regulate, and you're stuck in that fight, flight, or freeze response. That's traumatic. That is stress. That is disease. That is suffering. That is physical pain. Attitude has a profound effect on physical pain. So this, I hope, is awesome for some of you. Any questions before we wrap up? I'll take a minute. If anybody has any questions, feel free to tell them in the chat. And listen, I would love to bring people on. I had one idea to do a one-on-one coaching, but live, right? Live. Anyway, it would have to be incredibly valuable for the person primarily. And that's, post a book in the chat. You got it. I'm going to put them both in the chat. They're in the description. So if you come back to one of my channels later on too, if you happen to miss them now, I am definitely not live daily. I am live once a week, but no scheduled time. It's when someone has a cancellation or when I'm feeling inspired. And I felt inspired because I've been sharing this story. And I had another client, and I hope you're listening, brother. I love you, and I'm so proud to be part of your journey. He was reading a book called Distress How to avoid high conflict and how to avoid high conflict individuals, like how to keep high conflict individuals from ruining your life. That was literally the book that he was reading. He's reading this book for his business partner because his business partner is this high conflict person. And as he's reading this book, he sees himself in each page, just like I did. It's like, whoa, that's me. Whoa, that's me. Whoa, that's me. And listen, if that does happen, I need to tell you, it's awesome. It's powerful. It's also very unnerving. That's why I said, get help. You might need help anchoring. It feels you wonder, like, what do you know? What's real? What are you paying attention to? What are you reacting to? If you're wrong there, where else are you wrong? Right? It's almost causes for some people, who am I? If I'm always wrong, always being a jerk, always being reactive, no, that's a negative perspective. The positive perspective is owning the outcome. Owning the outcome is self-leadership. Owning the outcome starts with the premise, I know that I can't control what people do. I cannot control what people do, but I can learn more of persuasion, of sales, and listen, sales is not a dirty word. Like selling ideas, right? You got to sell your ideas. How do you package those ideas? Right? You've got somebody who you want to do something, or you've got someone conflict, right? You want to be able to resolve that better. And you can. And that's the beauty of growth, development, and change. Your DNA is not your destiny. All right, Flex Fitness is going to get my notifications. Robert would be down to go live again. That would be awesome. Share this, guys. Let's see the coupon. No, we had our January sale. We sent that around by email. If anybody has any questions about our programs, reach out to support at themindfulhabit.com, or you can call the number on the website and set an appointment. And you may get the chance to talk to my wife. And if you're interested in the group coaching program, we jump on the phone together because I got to make sure we're a fit. So it is an honor and it is a privilege to kick off 2024 with you. I'm going to make 2024 my best year. Life is too short to suck, and hitting 52 and looking at my trajectory and looking at where I've been holding back, where I've been in this cave, and stepping out and, being my best self and practicing more of what I preach and being more vulnerable and sharing with people and owning my mental health issues and continuing to having these discoveries. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. If you connect with this, and by the way, this is a sales call for me and all therapists qualified to treat you. So I can do this with a straight face without feel cheesy. The more you connect with this podcast, the more help you need. Okay? The more help you need. Find that therapist, find that counselor, find that group, find that coach. Find that place and dive in, because that means the more there is to learn, all that low-hanging fruit, right? And that person will help you accelerate it, and that person will help you get there quicker, go deeper, quicker, all right? It's the time needle, right? That you want to get there as fast as you can, and there are things that you can do, as Flex Fitness is doing, is saying, hey, can I leverage this program and the weekly webinar to create results quicker, all right? Click in the chat, join the core training program. I think there's a coupon there. Peace and love, everyone. I hope you got value in listening to this podcast. I know I felt awesome. I'm glad that I shared this with you. If it's you, get help, and congratulations. Now you have information. Information is power, right? Information, not ammunition, as George Collins, author of the book Breaking the Cycle, used to say. Information, not ammunition. God bless. Much love. Big hug. And thank you for sharing your journey with me. And I said, go look over there, and come back next time and let me know where you're at and if this brought value. Have a great night. Make it a great night. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.